Welcome back to Tipsy Homework, and this is actually my second video, and the same one that I am drinking with River Horse, which happens to be delicious, by the way. So, just in case you want to know, River Horse is the way to go. Unless you like something else, then of course, choose whatever you want. But tonight, we'll be discussing biology. Now, my last video was on algebra, and I am not the biggest fan of math. Not very good at it. It's probably why I'm not a fan of it. But biology, I enjoy it. I enjoy learning science. I enjoy learning anatomy, any of those things. Which is why I don't really have a problem with the biology right now. So, as you know before, I just got out of the military. I am studying small animal science at my local university, and so far, so good, except for my algebra class. It's a little difficult for me, but that's okay. So, let's get on to biology. It is also the first week of class for the spring semester, so I don't have a whole ton of things to share with you, just what I have learned within my first few days. So, first things first, the biosphere. What is the biosphere about? So, the biosphere is is everywhere we find life. We find life on Earth in the water, in the air, and in the dirt Earth itself. So, biosphere is pretty much everywhere on Earth. That is the biosphere. So, here's my card. I know it's completely backwards to you guys, which is why I kind of don't want to show these anymore. But note cards really help me, so maybe they'll help you too. And I know maybe mine won't help you, but if you are encouraged to make your own, it can really do you a lot of good. I mean, I went from doing nothing with my mind to all of a sudden having like crazy classes. But it's okay, because I enjoy it, and I want to show people that it's possible to go from nothing to something in as short amount of time as it is. And I'm enjoying it. Plus, I have a dog, and it's pretty awesome. Anyways, besides that, next, I have the population. So, a population is made up of individuals. It's simple as that. Pretty simple. Community. Can you guess what community is? I bet you can. Well, a community is a population of a species. And lots of species are individuals. So, yeah, pretty simple. Ecosystem. An ecosystem is made up of interactions of communities within an environment. Biological organization. Biological organization is made up of things of cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and organisms. And those are listed in order. Now, we're going to go over each one of those things by itself. So first of all, a cell. A cell is the most basic unit of life. That is what a cell is. Very simple, very easy. And I'm sure all of you who have been to school and are studying right now, I mean, you probably have all this right down, but I'm sure there are some people like that, like me out there, who need a little help, who need a little, booster within their lives. Because I know I have. I had a little breakdown the other day when doing algebra, and it kind of wanted me to make this video to help other people who are going through what I'm going through. Because starting school after so many years of not doing any of that, it's hard. It really is. But, I think it gives you a little more, it makes you want to study harder. It really does. Because you're here for a purpose and a reason, and I mean, you could have partied your years away at college, coming right out of high school, which, trust me, I did, although I wasn't in college. I had a job. And it makes a big difference because it's like I've gotten all that partying through my system, and now I'm here for a reason. I want to learn. And I want others who are out there like me to learn with me. So that is why I'm doing this. So, anyways, tissue. Tissue is our next subject in biology. And for you, those in college, I'm actually in Biological Science 1, not actually Biology 1, which is apparently harder. I didn't really know there was a difference until somebody in my class mentioned it to me because of my major. I'm a small animal science major. So I think everybody expects me to become a vet, and I like that and all. But I kind of want to be an animal behaviorist. I'm really well with working with animals and teaching them and such, and I would like to continue that road. Anyways, tissue. Tissue is our next subject in biological science. So, tissues, all tissues are similar cells. They just conjoin together and they make a tissue. And that's all it is. It's so simple. This is why I like biology. Next, we have organs. Now, organs are just similar tissues. So tissues who get together with other tissues make organs. But they have to be similar tissues. They can't be different tissues getting together. It just has to be the same kind of tissues. Make sense? Makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you too. And if it doesn't, I'm doing my best here, I promise. Next, we have an organ system. Organ systems are organs just working together to make an organ system. So, yeah, organ systems. Pretty simple. Next, we have an organism. And an organism is formed of organ systems. So that means us as humans, we have hearts and lungs and livers and kidneys that all work together. And that is what makes up us as an organism. Is that all of our organ systems work together to create us. I kind of like it. Okay, so in biology, we have two types of cells. We have prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Simple. Prokaryotic, eukaryotic. Okay, to start off, our prokaryotic cells. As I learned them in class today, maybe yesterday, they are simple cells, they're small, and there are such things as bacteria. Simple and small cells, that's all they are. Prokaryotic. Simple, small. Now for eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. That is the key thing. They have a nucleus. Remember that. There are such things as plants, animals, and fungi. So us, mushrooms, and plants. That is eukaryotic. Eukaryotic, you. Remember that. Now, DNA. DNA is just genetic material of cells. It has a really long name for it, and I don't remember it. That's why I call it by its acronym, DNA. And, my teacher didn't really care whether we knew the acronym or not. So I'm going to stick to DNA because I don't know the full meaning of it. Well, not the meaning of it. I don't know the full name of it. But DNA, genetic material of cells. Easy as that. Next we have taxonomy. Taxonomy it helps us name and order life. Now, we have a couple different ways of doing that. It goes in a list, kind of. First is domain, then we have our kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. That is the taxonomy of it. And we will go over each of these one by one. So no worries. It confused me at first too. Don't worry. Domain. Of course, because it's at the top of the list, right? Why would it make sense to do anything else but it's at top to bottom? So domain. There are 3 types of domain. There is prokaryotic, eukaryotic, and archaea. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. I probably am, and I'm sorry for pronouncing that wrong. But those are the 3 types. The first is prokaryotic bacteria. So within prokaryotic bacteria, we have archaea bacteria. That's it. Now, within the domain of archaea, we have these are specimens that can live in extreme temperatures. So extreme high temperatures, extreme low temperatures. They can live in no oxygen, which is called anoxic. They can live in high salinity, like the Dead Sea, and high and low temperatures. So these are your archaea bacteria. Next we have, well, this is just kind of definition of its own. My teacher really wanted me to learn this, and it's called extrophiles. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I'm sorry. But pretty much it means that any organism can live in extremes of either high temperatures or low temperatures or any extremes whatsoever. It is the love of extremes. That is pretty much what this word means. I'm sorry for mispronouncing it. I suck at pronunciation. Here you go. Okay, now onto eukaryotic. Eukaryotic are non-bacterial organisms. Yes, I kind of messed up that part at first. I just don't want to get rid of the card because I was stingy. And I'm kind of running low on money, so I didn't want to get rid of the card. Anyways, eukaryotic. Non-bacterial organisms. I know I just said that. I'm just saying it again. There are 4 different kingdoms for eukaryotic organisms. The first is protozoa, which are single-cell organisms. Second is fungi, things like mushrooms, things like that. Plantae, plants, easy, pretty simple to figure out. And animalia, which we belong to because we are technically animals. So, this is the eukaryotic domain. Now we have biodiversity. For biodiversity, the definition is the sum total of all organisms and their genetic information. Out of the biodiversity, arthropods are the most numerous in the world, ever to be known. And there are also hundreds of species that go extinct every single day because of changes in the atmosphere, things of which we create or destroy, and it's kind of sad. But biodiversity is the sum total. Just remember that, and you'll be good to go. Now we have conservative biology. Now, conservative biology is the efforts to protect biodiversity and its ecosystems. Yet again, the effort to protect biodiversity and its ecosystems. Pretty simple. Charles Darwin. Now, he is a pretty important figure in all of science. Charles Darwin, in 1959, wrote the book Origins of Species. It actually has a much longer title, but we have shortened it to this day because it is so long. Anyways, it's considered the Origins of Species, and what it did was it presented evidence to support evolution. And at that time, that was a very unpopular outlook on life. He had cartoons that were drawn to make fun of him and everything. And not until later on did people actually realize that he might have been right. But Charles Darwin is an extremely important figure in all this. Whether or not you believe in creationism or evolution, which honestly, I believe in creationism, but I also believe that evolution had to have at least a small part in life in order for things to be the way they are. It's not impossible to believe both. I believe in God, but I also believe that things had to adapt to be what they are today. And that's fine with me. I completely understand. But Charles Darwin, he's a reason to thank for all of this. He's a very important figure. Next card. Evolution. Now, evolution, it's pretty much just natural selection. And what natural selection is natural death. It sounds sad, but it's true. Now, natural selection. Natural selection is the evolution and a change in gene frequency in a population over time. So that pretty much means over time things will develop, things will change for the better, for how it should be, which makes complete sense. I mean, if things didn't change the way they were, they wouldn't be here today. And I know that sounds so stupid. I'm a little bit tipsy, so sorry. And I don't want to sound like an idiot, but it makes sense if you can just think about how he wanted it to be thought of. Sounds dumb. I'm sorry. Anyways, next, we have the scientific method. Scientific method, we have a hypothesis and a theory. There are two different sides to the scientific method. We'll go over hypothesis first. What a hypothesis is a guess. It's a proposed explanation for a set of the observations. So all a hypothesis is observation. It's people sitting there and watching and taking notes and seeing how things change over time. That's all an observation is. But a theory is much different. A theory is a large and unusual growing body of evidence. So a theory is something that you can study for sure, and you know it's true. Theory is there in the flesh. You can take a theory and you can make it into something bigger. And that is the difference between a hypothesis and a theory. And that, my friends, is all I have for my notes on biology. So, I hope you have enjoyed, because doing this actually really helps me understand my own notes, and hopefully they're correct. And if not, please let me know, and by all means, I will be more than willing to change them. Plus, I might actually need your help in the future, so please let me know what you think, and I hope you've had a fun time watching this. I know I'm not the most educated person in the world, which is why I'm going to school again, obviously, but I hope you've had a good time, and I hope you can find as much joy and excitement in your classes as I can. I know it's a pain in the butt, but I'm kind of having fun. So I hope you have a great night. Good night.